In this video, I am going to walk you through how to install Microsoft SQL Server and SSMS using an ISO file. If you do not know what an ISO file is, nor do you know how to download it, watch my previous video on how to download an ISO file. Previously, I walked you through how to download an ISO file, and this is the one I downloaded previously. But early this year, I have this one for my organization's Microsoft package. For some reason and for some personal choice, I want to use the 2019 edition. And it doesn't matter which one you use, actually, you can go ahead and use the 2017 edition. And if you are in school or working for a company, you can ask your organization to let you have access to the one in the Microsoft package. So this one is from my organization actually, but I'm going to use the one that I downloaded yesterday in my previous video. And to get started, you need to create a virtual drive on your computer or on your machine. And also you can use this, you go through this same process if you are downloading or installing it on your virtual machine. So I'm going to open my virtual machine here, my VMware. So this is my virtual machine and I have the same stuff here. And remember, when you were downloading it, you'll be asked if you were doing it on a virtual machine or on your Windows machine. So depending on what you choose, but it's the same process you go through, whether you're doing it on your virtual machine or you're doing it on your Windows machine. So this is my virtual machine, but I already have a SQL on it, so I'm not going to worry about it, but I'm going to install it on my Windows machine. So I'm going to use this, but it's the same process you go through if you are doing it on your virtual machine. Okay. So to get started, I am going to right click and then mount the ISO file. And this will create a virtual drive on my computer. Okay, and as you can see, these options, mount, bend this, is the same option we will have if we right click on this one. Okay, so actually it's the same file that you have here. Okay, this is just 2019 edition, and also is the evaluation one, which lasts for 180 days, but I prefer to use that one and try that one. I've used 2017 ISO file and I'm going to try the 2019, but it's your choice. It doesn't matter if you want to use the one you got from your organization, whether from school or company, feel free and go ahead and use that. But for now, I am going to mount this file to create a virtual machine on my computer. So let's mount. And once I mount it, this one creates the virtual drive on my computer. The next thing I'm going to do is to, because use the setup file. So I'm going to click on the setup file and then right click my mouse. Okay. And then I'm going to run this as administrator. Okay. So I'm going to select run as administrator. And then I see an option here, which I assume you are not seeing it right now, but it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes in your device? Okay, and I'll go ahead and click yes. Okay, and that's what you will see. And this should take me to a SQL Server installation center. Okay, to take a minute or two, and then it will take me to a SQL Server installation center. Okay, so that takes me here. And then I have the planning and installation. I'm going to install, so I'm going to click on the installation. The next thing to do is to click on the new SQL Server standalone installation and add features. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Okay, and that should take me to a window that should ask me for a product key. And remember, this is a free edition, so we are going to accept the default setting for this. Okay, so this is the evaluation one. Okay, so I'm going to accept specify free one. Okay, yours may be different. Okay, so I'm going to accept this. you can use the developer actually depending on the ISO file you have. Yeah, so if you remember, I had two ISO files here. So this one is a developer. Okay, so if you were using this file, which is the developer, then you need to select the developer one. If you were using Express, you need to select Express. But the one I'm using is the evaluation file. Okay, so that's why I'm going to use the evaluation one. But remember, if you're using the developer, don't forget to select the developer here. Okay, so I'm going to select the evaluation one. It's a free edition, so I'm not going to put in any product key. So I'm going to go ahead and press next. The next thing we are going to do is, of course, accept license terms. Okay, so we're going to accept license terms and then next. And this will take a few seconds, and we should be taking to it should be going here. We're probably going to accept Windows update stuff. So wait a minute or two here. Since this might take a while, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Or I'm probably just going to wait, and then you can forward the video if you want. But if it takes too long, I am going to pause the video and then resume when this part of the process is completed. But as I said again, this is the same process you go through even if you're doing it on your virtual machine. With this window, install rules, we are going to accept it and click on next. And then once this window pops up, we are going to select the database engine services and then click next. And this will slow down a little bit, take a minute or two, probably a few seconds. Oh, wow, here we are. On this window, we will click next to accept the default setting. Waiting for a few seconds, and then they show, okay, with the server configuration, we will also accept the default setting, so we will click next. On this window page, we are going to add the current user. And to do that, we are going to select the mix mode and then just come up with a password you'll remember. So I'm going to do mine. And I need to repeat the same password, make sure they match, and then add current user. Click on the add current user. This may take a few seconds to get it working. Now, when it's done, I see my name here. You should see your name here as well. Hopefully, you are using your own computer or whoever computer you're using. But this means this one is gone through. And then I'm going to click next, and then this should take me to ready to install window. And then we were almost ready to install. Okay, good. So everything has gone through successfully. So what I'm going to do is to select the install to actually install the SQL Server. And This may take a minute or two. This may take some moment. And so I'm going to pause the video as this runs through, and we'll come back when everything is successfully completed. It seems to go faster here, so I'm probably going to wait. So remember, it's the same process you go through when you do using the developer. Okay, so either you use the developer or you use the evaluation. It's the same process. But remember to choose evaluation when you're using evaluation. You choose developer when you're using developer. One thing also is the same process you will use if you are using the virtual machine. So you install it, you go through the same process to install SQL on your virtual machine. Okay, once it is done, you should see a message that says installed successfully. Now I'm going to close it since I have successfully installed it, close this. But I'm not going to close it, do not close it. We may need it in the next step. So we're going to keep this one for now. But remember, we use the ISO file to create a virtual drive on our computer. So now we are going to eject it, eject the virtual drive. Okay, so we're going to my PC or this PC, so select this PC, and then the drive is here. Okay, this created a virtual drive when we mounted it. And how we're going to unmount it is to eject it. Okay, so we're going to right click on the drive and then select eject. Okay, and that eject or unmount a virtual drive on our computer. So that is the end of installing SQL Server. The next thing we're going to do is to install SQL Server Management Studio, which is the SSMS, and that's how we interact with the data. Yep, so we need that one to interact with the data. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And to do that, we go to your start button. And if you are in your virtual machine, it's the same process. Go to your start button. And then you see SQL Server 2019, 2019 import 2019 configuration. I am installing 2019. That is why you see 2019 there. Yours may be 2017. That is okay. You will see 2017 there. Okay. But now I'm going to expand it because these are not the ones I am looking for. So expand. If yours shows there, yeah. If yours doesn't show when you click on the select button or start button, what you need to do is to type in SQL Server. Okay. And then you should see the options here. Okay. But I'm lucky when I start the button, I see them here, but I need to expand it because I need this one, need the one with the arrow, okay? One of the arrows, so I'm going to click on that one, and that should take me to a window that asks, do you want to allow this app to make changes? You may not be able to see it right now, but I see it. But on your own computer, you should see it, and I'm going to select yes. And that brings me to this window, okay? And then we have planning, we have installation. So I need to install, okay, obviously. So I'm going to click on the installation. And the next thing I see, I have a couple of options here, but I'm going to install SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to select that one, click on SQL Server Management Studio, okay. And this takes me to a website, okay, Microsoft website, wanting me to download the SQL Server Management Studio, okay. And we're just going to go with the first option, which is this one, download SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to click on that to download. Okay, and then it is downloading now. This will take a few minutes, as you can see, 5 minutes or so, plus and minus. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video while this downloads. And when the download is completed successfully, I'll resume and then we'll continue from there. Once the downloading is finished or completed, we're going to click on the drop up arrow, and then we're going to look for where the folder or where the file, in which folder the file is downloaded into. So show in folder, and that takes us here. Okay, so we are going to install this. And in order to do that, we need to right click this one. So this is the one we just installed. These ones were yesterday and earlier today. So the one that comes first is probably the one that, and you can see the name matches. Okay, so we right click that one, and we're going to run as administrator. Okay, and click on the run as administrator, and a new window will pop up asking me if I want to allow this app to make changes on my computer. And that's the one you should see on your side as well, but you cannot see mine right now. So it asked me, and I'm going to say yes, I wanted to make changes on my computer. That's the whole point of installing it. Okay, now here I have my SSMS ready. I'm just going to accept it and click on install. Okay, and this is going to install SSMS on my computer. A studio where we can interact with the database from my Microsoft SQL. This will also take or may take a few minutes. So I'm going to pause the video while you also go through your installation. Once it's done successfully, I will come back and we'll continue. But basically, we are done. Once the SSMS is installed, you may be required to restart your computer. And if you don't, just go to your start, just start your computer and look for your SSMS should pop up, and then you are ready to go and you are ready to explore. You can watch my next video on how introduction to SSMS and how to create database in your SSMS, how to create tables, and explore a little bit with me as we go through or go on this journey. As you can see here, setup completed. A specified component have been installed successfully. So that's the end of it. SQL Server has been installed, and SQL Server Management Studio has also been installed. So I'm going to close it and actually close this one as well. So we're done. That's the end. But in case you are wondering how to get it started or how to get it going, I am going to open mine. I didn't need to restart my laptop or computer. So I am going to open my SSMS for you to see. So I'm going to go to start, okay? And you can see Microsoft SQL Server Management here, okay? So I can see mine here. If you don't see yours, you need to search for it, okay? So you go to the search and type SSMS, that should work. Okay, that takes you here, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, and what I would advise you do is to pin it to the taskbar, okay? So when you pin it to the taskbar, it shows up here all the time, okay? You don't have to search it again all the time, okay? So I'm going to pin this, pin to the taskbar, and now it shows up here. And this is going to stay there all the time, okay? So once I've pinned it, but now I want to open it as well, okay? But I can close this, and whenever I want to open it, I come here and click on this one, okay? So I'm not going to search it in the start button anymore. I'm going to come here, and then it will take a few moments to get it going. So Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio is all done, okay? Now it's pop up and it asks me to connect. Okay, so I'm going to connect. Mine is just connected to the desktop. And if you went through the same process with me, you should have the same thing. So I'm going to now connect. Okay. Now we are ready to get our SSMS going. So we have our database here. Okay, that's my database. There's no database here. Okay, and there's nothing here. This is just a fresh thing. Okay. So in my next couple of videos, I'm going to show you how to create a database, okay? And we're going to explore a little bit SSMS, what it is, and how to create a new query, and even how to restore a database using the Adventure Works, okay? So good luck on your adventure exploring database with SQL Server, and I'm sure you're going to have fun. And if this is, this helps you, you can share with your other friends that are struggling to know how to download ISO file or how to install SSMS using an ISO file.